I'll tell you a bit about myself. I was homeschooled growing up. And it was pretty good. I liked it, but we did do things differently. Like at homeschooling, we never did grades, right? Like every single day, no matter how I did, my mom just told me she loved me. And now I can't read. So, horrible system. It didn't work at all. It was terrible. I joke, I like it. All my friends blame all of my problems on homeschooling, though. It doesn't matter what. I'll be like, I can't open this pickle jar. They're like, homeschooling. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? They're like, oh, you didn't go to home ec pickle jar? I don't know. I have a friend, actually here tonight, who told me once, he thinks it's super weird that I was homeschooled, right? Because he thinks it didn't prepare me for the real world. Because I was talking to him, and he said, well, you see, you're supposed to go to high school, right? And hate it. And it prepares you to grow up and get a job that you also hate. And I told him, I said, but I loved my school experience, and now I have a job that I also love. And he said, fuck you. So I was like, he was trying to bully me, but I've never been bullied before. I was like, is this bullying? Is it happening? I'll try. Oh, I'm so hurt. I can't, I've been loved too much. I'm sorry, I got too many hugs. You ever been kissed goodnight by your teacher? I don't think so. Weird. My sex ed teacher tucked me in. It's like, good night, and I poke her on the nose. So it's a good, fun time. It's a good time. I can tell you what I do for a living now when I'm not doing this. I'm a nanny, or a manny, as we say. I'm a full-time nanny. I used to do it through an app like Uber, where I just show up to strangers' houses and be like, I'm here for your children. And they'd be like, great, and they give me their kids. And I think people were willing to do that because they assumed there was like a vetting process or something, but there wasn't, Like the company that hired me, they were just like, are you good with kids? And I was like, we'll see. They're like, okay. And I like doing it, but it does create weird situations with people. Like, people never expect men to be nannies. Like, I was recently out with a kid, and we were about to cross the street, so I was holding his hand, and this random woman, she said to the kid, she was like, oh, hey, are you having a nice day with your dad? And the kid just went, he's not my dad. And we just walked away. We just walked. And never knew. That woman thought she witnessed a crime happen. And she was like, not my problem. I'm good. It's not even always like the kids, my kids, that run into issues. There was like one kid once, I was at a playground, and there was this one of the kids I was with wanted to use the monkey bars, but he was too tiny, so I had to like pick him up so he could like pretend like he was using the monkey bars. And this random little girl at the park came up to me and was like, oh, mister, can you carry me next? And I'd be like, no, get away from me. Like, what? Could you imagine if I just picked up a random little girl at the park and her mom came over and was like, what are you doing? And I'd have to be like, she was asking for it. This looks bad. For a reflection on your parenting. Kids are crazy, man. This is a thing that happened the other day. One of my kids, we went to the park, and he walked up to me wearing a mask he didn't arrive in. I was like, where'd you get the mask? And he went, I found it on the ground. And I was like, oh, well, we're all dead, And after that, he coughed directly into my mouth. That's good. That's lovely. Just great, yeah. I did have one of the kids recently. I don't know if like what I'm teaching them is sinking in. I recently had one of the kids. I've been with this pod now for about 8 months, and one of the kids said to me, he said, hey Ian, what's your job? And I was like, this is my job. And he said, but you don't do anything. I was like, don't tell your mom. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Probably the worst thing that happens is I play hide and seek with the kids, and when you play hide and seek with small children, if you don't know, when it's your turn to hide, you always want to hide in a spot where you can easily watch them at all times, just to make sure they don't like wander off and hurt themselves, right? Which means recently, I was at a park, crouched in a bush, watching a child. And I realized there was a woman at the park watching me watch the child. But in my head, I was like, oh, she also playing hide and seek. So all I thought to do was I just looked at her and went, and I sunk into the bush. Another time, I had a kid get in a bush with me. This was not even one of my kids. I was like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Jaden." I'm like, "Get in my bush, Jaden!" Like, what's... He was like, "Am I in trouble?" I'm like, "No, but I'm about to be if you don't get out of here." It's terrible. Kids are wild, man. I couldn't do any other job though. I couldn't. I live in San Francisco, and a lot of people work in tech there, but I couldn't work in tech. I mean, I tried. I applied numerous times, and they said no. But it was weird. It scares me a lot. Like those jobs that people have. Like this is a true. I recently heard probably the scariest conversation I've ever heard of these two tech guys, and they're talking about artificial intelligence. And this one guy, he said to his friend, "It's hard to tell how smart the AI is that I'm working on, because there could be things it's choosing not to tell me." I mean, it's time to unplug that robot, right? The second the robot's being coy, I don't want to deal with it. You ask a robot, "Hey, are you gonna kill all humans?" It's like, I don't know. No, thank you. Let's not do that. But it's crazy, man. Technology is it's so wild. I can't even. I don't know, like, even old technology is crazy to me. Like, I don't think if we lost the technology we have, I don't think we could go back to old technology. Like, if we lost phones tomorrow, could anyone tell me how to train a carrier pigeon? Like, how do they know where to go? Do you just get a pigeon and tie a letter to it and be like, Sacramento! Crazy world we live in. Oh man. I can tell you a bit about my experiences recently. I don't know about you guys. This is my first ever global pandemic. So I don't know if anyone else was there for polio or whatever, but you know, if so, good on you. But you had a good run. But it's weird. What I've been going through, I moved in with. On the first day of like the actual shelter in place, I both lost my job and I moved in with my girlfriend. Yeah, which you might think that was bad, but you might be surprised that after 6 months, she actually proposed that we break up. So. Relationship would change a bit more in like COVID, but it's pretty much our dynamic stayed the same. Like at the end of every day, she'd still be like, "Oh, so tell me about your day. How was your day?" And I was just like, "You were watching the entire time. I have no new information for you. I don't know." Oh man, I have been watching now post breakup. I've been watching a lot of TV now, and so I've been watching a lot of the show. I'm a Bachelor now, so you know I've been watching the show. My crazy ex-girlfriend. So that's good. But I have been watching a lot of The Bachelor, and it's a weird show. Does anyone else watch The Bachelor? Does anyone? Yeah. Hey, fuck Rachel, right? It's just for them. Okay, come on. But it's a crazy show because the one thing I don't like about that show is honestly, I think it sets an unrealistic expectation for bachelors, right? Like, I think there should be a more realistic version of that show. So we have The Bachelor, and then just another show called A Bachelor. Which, like, on the first episode of A Bachelor, it's just a man, like, going to Target to buy a second towel, you know? Where do I go? I don't know. When I moved in with my ex, she was like, "Where are your other towels?" And I'm like, "This is it. I don't know." And she was like, "Why is it crunchy?" And I'm like, "Why are you asking so many questions?" Like, I like the viscosity of it. You know? Oh man. I think part of my problem, I'm trying to be better about standing up for myself. I just fold immediately. I'm not very good with like just saying what I actually want. Like I had this happen recently. I was hanging outside of a bar, and some guy came up to me and he was trying to talk to me, and he was talking way too close without a mask, right? And he was just like in my face. And so I decided, my friend was kind of standing a few feet away, so I was like, "Oh, I need to go get a cigarette for my friend." Now, I've never smoked a day in my life, so I know I seem like a bad boy, you know, like, "Oh, I do drugs, watch out." But I've never smoked once, but I thought it's the first thing I thought of. So I was like, I need to go get a cigarette for my friend. And the guy goes, oh, I have a cigarette. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, I need to go get a light from my friend. And he's like, I also have a light. And then, so I was like, oh. So now I'm like holding his cigarette and the lighter. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good, actually. I think I've turned a new leaf. I think I'm good. And he said, smoke it. So now I'm like, you know, that's how, and now I'm up to 3 packs a day. So it's crazy. Just how, it's crazy. You know, I have no, I can't stand up for myself at all. I don't know. I'll get out of here on this. I like living in San Francisco, but it's kind of a weird place. I had a friend who's having some car issues recently. His car window was busted into, right? And it happened numerous times before. So what he did was he just put plastic wrap over the window. And he's like, you know, I'm just gonna leave it, right? That way if someone wants what's in my car, they can just break the plastic and I don't have to get my window fixed. And a week later, someone broke a different window in this car. Didn't even scratch the plastic. So now what he does, whenever he parks anywhere in the city, he just puts all of his windows down. Right? He's like, you can't hurt me anymore. And 2 days ago, someone shit in his car. So that's a good thing.